So I invite you to take a seat, a comfortable seat. Anything that allows you to keep a straight spine. As we begin the class with the sound of the bell or the singing bowl.
So we're starting the class with a meditation. It's a heart meditation. Been doing a lot of reading regarding the science behind the connection between the heart communicating with the brain. And there's very strong science behind coherence, which means aligning your heart with your mind and your emotions. And that impacts your heart rate variability, which is the rhythm between the beats of your heart. What we'd like to try and achieve for high performance and high coherence levels is having a consistent rhythm between the heart communicating with your brain. Basically, it helps with respiration, digestion, your immune system, your autonomic nervous system. So there's a relationship between both the physical and the psychological. Let's start with your eyes closed. And bring some awareness to your breath. Can you slow down your breathing? Can you bring your hands to your heart center? And see if you can breathe in and out from that heart center. Focusing your attention to inhaling and exhaling through that heart center. Slow down your breathing and notice any thoughts, feelings, sensations, or emotions that are coming across to you right now. Can you bring that into your heart center? And see if you can feel or find the emotion of love, of gratitude, of peace or joy. Can you bring that into your heart center? If it's an image, perhaps an image of your loved one, your pet, Can you bring that feeling into your heart center? If any thoughts come through that's outside of that feeling, see if you can just set it aside and you'll be back to it later. But let's bring that love, joy, just that feeling back into your heart center. Your heart is communicating to your brain, sending signals of immunity, relaxation. Again, very powerful. That energy between the two. This is again proven by science, by the HeartMath Institute. From here, can you send those feelings out to your loved ones? And then let's collectively send that feeling of gratitude, love, peace to the rest of the world, to the whole world. Let's focus our attention back on the breath, breathing from the heart center. Slow inhalation and letting go as you exhale. Inhale and letting go as you exhale. We'll end this practice with the sound of the bells. Slowly open your eyes to this new moment. Thank you for practicing and joining in our meditation. We'll stay seated. Let's start by interlacing your fingers. Palms face away from you. Slowly lift your arms up to the sky, palms face the sky. Relax the shoulders. Relax your neck. Let's lean over to the right. Come back to center. Lean over to the left. Come back to center. And sweep our arms back. Let's do this once more. Interlace your fingers, palms face away from you. Lift your arms up to the sky. Relax the shoulders. Inhale. and exhale. And let's lean over to the right. Let's come back to center. Lean over to the left. Come back to center. Inhale and exhale and sweep our arms out back to the side. Let's bring our arms to a T position. And bring our right arm down to our side as we move our left arm to our right side. So your biceps are by your ears. Your head can either be straight or looking down at your hand. Come back to center. Let's do the same on the other side. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, arms back to center. Breathe out. Breathe in, arms back to center. Breathe out. And back to center. And we're going to come to a seated twist or a standing twist. So arms back to your side. Inhale. As you exhale, just slowly twist over to the right. Your left hand can come onto your right knee. Your head comes last. Just looking over your shoulders slightly. Hands back to a T position and down. Sweep your arms back to center. As you breathe in, let's twist over to the left. Right hand is over your left knee. Left hand is behind you. Your head's the last to twist. Just slowly, slightly look over your shoulder. Feel that lengthening of your spine. Come back to center. Do this once more on your own. Maybe a little faster. Breathe in. Let's twist over. Head's the last to move. Breathe in place. And breathe out. Hands back to center. And back down. Back to a T. Let's twist over to the other side. Head to your left. Come back to center as we exhale. Now we're going to come to a cat-cow position. So we're going to come on all fours, but if you are seated, John will show you the modification while seated. If you have a blanket and you're on all fours, you could lay the blanket onto your mat just to protect your knees, just to pad your knees. So I'm going to be on all fours. I've got my wrists lined up with my shoulders and my knees lined up with my hips. As I inhale, I'm going to tilt my pelvis forward, arch my back, look up to the sky, and as I exhale, I'm going to be rounding my back, head tilts down. Demonstrate it this way.
Good idea.
Inhale, I'm tilting my pelvis forward, my hips, and exhale, rounding my back. Inhale, pelvis tilts forward, heart forward, head looks up. Exhale, Chin tucked slightly, rounding my spine. And inhale, exhale. Inhale, my shoulders open up. Exhale as I round my spine. I'm going to come up to standing. Keep your feet hip distance apart as we move into Warrior One, Virabhadrasana. So bring your left foot forward, again, hip distance apart. And John's going to be modifying this on the chair. As I inhale, I'm bending my knees and I'm bringing my arms to a cactus position. Exhale, my knees straighten, my legs straighten, my arms come back to my side. Inhale, cactus position. Exhale, arms back to my side. Inhale, bending the knees, keeping your knees lined up again with your ankle. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. This time, as I bend my left knee, I'm going to raise my right arm. And this is actually good for your psoas. It's a psoas stretch. Inhale. Raise your right arm. Exhale. Feel that lengthening of the front of your body as you raise your arm. Bend your knees. And one more. This time, let's just stay here. Take an inhale and an exhale. We can extend the back slightly for your thoracic, your upper back. And exhale. My right leg meets my left. I'm going to take my left foot back. Again, keeping your feet hip distance apart. Inhale, bring your arms to a cactus position. Bend your knees. Keep your knees lined up with your ankle. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale and exhale. And one more. This time I'm going to bend my knee, but lift my left arm up. Again, a psoas stretch. You're stretching the front of your body. Feel the length of the back of your leg. And exhale. Inhale. Your back foot is firmly on the ground. Exhale. Two more. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. This time, let's stay here. Breathe out. Breathe in. Heel firmly back on the ground, your back heel. And breathe out. Let's have our left leg meet our right. And we're going to come to Virabhadrasana 2, which is Warrior 2, which is a dynamic version of warrior two. So bring your feet, your legs a couple of feet apart. Your right foot is at a 90-degree angle. Bring your arms to a T as you bend your knee. Again, knees tracking with your ankle. And now we're going to take our left arm and we're going to bring it up to meet our right arm. So your bicep is lined up with your ear. Now let's take this left arm and bring it back behind you, and your palms are raising up to the sky. Let's do that once more. And exhale. Let's come back to center. Let's do the same on the other side. So your left foot is at a 90-degree angle. Bring your arms out to a T as you bend that left knee. Knees tracking with the ankle. Knees tracking with the second toe. Look over to your left. Find a point in front of you. Now let's bring this right arm over to meet the left. And bring that arm back out to the side, palms facing up. Once more. And palm faces up. Let's come back to center. Let's sweep our arms out and up. Hands to your heart. Fold forward. Bend your knees. Come back halfway. Let's come back down. Sweep our arms out and up. Palms to our heart. Thank you. Thanks, John.
Thank you, madam. Thanks very much, John. Well, nice practice there. We're focusing today, if you joined us a little bit earlier today, on the lower back. We did a couple of hamstring stretches. Mary Jo's introduced the psoas muscle there. The psoas muscle joins and inserts into all 5 vertebrae of the lower back. And the start of the thoracic spine, the mid-back, the T12, right at the base of the thoracic spine. And it inserts in there, and it's the only muscle that joins the spine to the legs. So it's a really keystone for our balance, our alignment, and our posture. And it's a very large muscle. There's 2 of them that span either side of the spine and wrap around into the greater trochanter here of the femur. And they're 16 inches long. They're very long, wide muscles. And so it's essential, they're quite deep. It's essential for those to be stretched and maintained in some integrity there. That's easily to come out of alignment when we have scoliosis or some spinal conditions, but we can gently bring them back to position, to a nice stretch and extension, back into their normal range of motion. By the Ardha Chandrasana move, let's try that just to begin with, to get a nice stretch back in the psoas muscle. As we inhale, arms come up, left hand meets right wrist. I'll stand back a little just so you get a shot of this. And we're looking either straight at the horizon line, straight ahead, or perhaps, if it's accessible for you today, looking up towards the hand. The heart rotates up towards the heavens. That's a fairly deep stretch. So find something that feels good in your body. It might just be at the horizon line, and then slowly come back down, placing the hands back down alongside the torso. Just releasing any tension in the shoulders, a couple of deep shoulder rotations. I'll adjust the camera here so we get a better shot of that, and I can come a little closer, perhaps get better in view. As we take now the opposite hand to wrist, and we're extending out over the side, and we're lengthening through all the side body, and the psoas muscle that inserts into the lower back and the start of the thoracic spine gets a nice stretch here. And we're keeping the head, if we can, somewhat between the two strong straight arms. So see if you can begin to take a bend out of the arms. The arms aren't designed to straighten all the way. They're just going towards straight. Again, the head just faces at the horizon line, or option to perhaps begin to rotate the heart up towards the heavens to deepen the stretch. If that feels good in your body today and you want to go a little deeper into the stretch, keep extending out through the fingertips and find a nice length through the side body, all the way down through the arm, the intercostal muscles between the ribs, down past the hips, down all the way to the floor. Nourishing breath through the tip of the nose, coming back to the midline and releasing the arms down and rolling the shoulders forward a few times, just releasing any tension in the shoulders. Wonderful. As we begin to circle the hips, releasing any tension in the lower back and hips. Something we don't do enough, really, in yoga is the movement of the spine and this snake-like movement and this articulation of the spine. Sending nutrients into the hips, we're sending and releasing the synovial fluid, I should say, into the largest joint in the body, the ball and socket joint of the hips. And then in the other direction a few times. If you like, you can close your eyes and imagine that you're drawing a circle with your tailbone right between your feet. Nourishing breath, come back to the breath. Let the breath guide your practice today. If all we took from these practices was our breath, that would be enough. Just a simple act of breathing in and out of the nose. It helps regulate our emotions. It helps develop a sense of wellness throughout the body. Wonderful. As we begin to move the arms now around the body, and they're not actually touching the torso, they're maybe a couple of inches away from the torso as we, in a gentle twist. And again, if there's any pain today, if there's any sharp, tingling, radiating pain, I invite you to back off immediately. And just come to a comfortable breath practice, breathing in through the tip of the nose and out through the nose. We take 21 to 24,000 breaths on average a day. How often do we check in with our breath? We simply take the breath for granted, but it is the key for our health. We can regulate so much through the breath. The breath controls the mind, and the mind controls the breath. And then begin to tap lightly into the kidney and into the side of the body, into the hip flexors. So we're tapping with the back of the hand into the kidney in the back, side, coming up to the chest, make a fist, and so you can get the lung point here, this meridian at the lung. Very good for our respiratory health. We've got the vagal nerve there. We have a drainage point, lymph node. Still tapping into the kidney in the back now with a fist. Little twist now, axial rotation, slight twist, moving with a flow, moving like water. Wonderful. And slowing down, just moving slowly. Arms come back down on sides. We begin to tap along the inside of the arm and then tap on the outside of the arm, all the way across the lung point, down the inside of the arm, across the outside of the arm, across the lung point, tapping inside of arm, outside of arm. As we take a nice wide stance, a little bit wider than hip width, shoulder width apart, as we come down the outside of the leg. And just do your best. Perhaps it's just coming to here today, or if it feels good in your body, extending down towards the earth, and then along the inside of the leg. Then into the lower dantian, or the agni. That's where we hold all our unresolved issues. Of course, it's the root of our health here, the digestive system and the gut. And then, once again, coming along the inside of the arm, the top of the outside, through the lung point, firmly across the chest, inside, loosening up any stagnant energy and congestion within the body. And then the hands come down along the outside, tapping along the inside, along the outside of the opposite leg, and then along the inside. Let's begin to smooth that energy as we take the hand firmly across the top of the arm, perhaps extending out towards the fingers. It's okay if you're only getting to here today. That's a fine stretch too. Otherwise, the hand turns up, the palm faces up as we glide the hand along the top of the arm into the lung point, smoothing and releasing trapped and stagnant energy as we extend out towards the fingertips. Exhaling, releasing, firmly pressing down the outside of the leg. Inhale, a nourishing breath as you come up the inside to the lower dantian, down the outside of the leg, along the inside of the leg. One more time, perhaps extending the stretch and going a little deeper into the stretch past the fingertips, if that's accessible for you today. Standing tall, chest gets bigger, heart gets bigger, pressing firmly across the lung point. Extending perhaps out past the fingers, pressing firmly along the inside of the arm into the lung point. Working with meridians today. These substations in the body, all connected. Wonderful as both hands now come up in a clearing gesture, releasing that last movement. Very slowly through thick air. And the hands travel down in front of the torso, about an inch or two. Wonderful. As the hands come to prayer at the heart, coming back to about hip width, shoulder width apart, just check in with your stance. Hands in prayer. Opening the fingers wide, shoulder blades draw back and down. Slight bend in the knees as the hands come together, maybe even a tuck of the chin here to lengthen out through the crown of the head and begin to articulate the cervical spine. As we draw the shoulder blades back and down, spread toes wide, spread fingers wide. Slight bend in the knees, chin energetically comes to chest. Inhaling. As we breathe into the back and the front of the lungs being the commander of chi. So you breathe into the front and back body. Front body where we hold our emotions. Back body where we hold a lot of energy, vitality, strength and vigor. And perhaps the arms are a little bit lower. If there's any shoulder discomfort today and they're just coming out to here, that's a great stretch today too. So just finding what works for you, because you're more likely to repeat it. With some articulation of the cervical spine now as the chin comes up to the heavens and then slowly into the chest. Inhaling as we open, drawing the arms away. Exhaling very slowly through thick air, a ball of energy between the palms. One more time. Spread toes wide, spread fingers wide, chest gets bigger, heart gets bigger. Well done. And releasing and rolling each shoulder back independently. As though you're doing the backstroke without the arms. Oh, I should feel pretty good, huh? Then in the opposite direction a few times. We'll come back to a slightly deeper shoulder opening in a moment. Let's do something for our posture now. Great way in which we can come back into realignment and an anatomical plumb line. Ideally, you want to have the middle of the ear align to the shoulder, align to the hip, align to the knee, align to the ankle. Imagine this anatomical plumb line. And the wall is a fantastic reference point for us. And I recommend doing this about 2 minutes a day, where we draw the head back into the wall as best you can. Notice what the chin does here, whether we're pronating or whether the chin is tucking, or if the head can't reach the back of the wall, that's fine. We're just noticing where it is today. See if you can feel the shoulders into the wall. See if you can feel the hips into the wall. Notice what the legs are doing, what's happening in the tension within the legs. See if you can release any tension behind the knees. There's a tendency to really tense up here behind the knees. Spread toes wide and root down into the earth. And then see if you can imagine a line of energy coming right up through the feet, right up through the legs. Engage the thigh muscles so much so the kneecaps rise. Engage the abdominals, drawing the front ribs back towards the wall. See if you can lengthen out through the crown of the head. And here we're in mountain pose, Tadasana. Again, release any tension behind the back of the legs. Spread toes wide. Just come into closing the eyes for a moment and feeling this sense of alignment, this anatomical plumb line. And then maintain this position as you walk away from the wall, coming back to your mats or back into view. Feels a little different, huh? And that is our anatomical plumb line. So a great practice to do into a wall. The feet are about 1 inch off the baseboard. So notice where the legs are too when you do that. Fabulous way in which, if you don't have a wall accessible, and to strengthen the shoulder atlas and the muscles supporting the spine, is to come into a Y. We'll call this YWLT. So the first position is a Y. Spread feet a little and legs a little bit wider than hip width and shoulder width apart. Release any tension in the shoulders. W, taking the arms into cactus or into this W position. Draw the shoulder blades back and down, palms face forward. Inhaling a nourishing breath through the tip of the nose. Exhaling down through the feet and up through the crown of the head. So that's the W. The next is the L position. As we activate and engage the teres minor, the rotator cuff muscle, it's the only rotator cuff muscle underneath the arm here that doesn't adjoin the scapula. The other three insert into the scapula. The teres minor here is activated underneath the armpit. So imagine that you're drawing a basketball and you're pressing or drawing your hands into a basketball firmly. Could be a watermelon at this size. Draw the shoulder blades back and down. Root down through the feet, spread toes wide. Extend out through the crown of the head. See if you can find that anatomical plumb line once more. Notice if the head is drifted forward. So we've done Y, W, L. Now we take the arms out to a T. Palms face forward. Draw shoulder blades back and down. If there's any discomfort in the shoulders, perhaps drawing the arms down a little bit lower. Otherwise, fingers spread wide, toes spread wide. Root down through the feet into the earth and extend out through the crown of the head. YWLT are the 4 positions that we've covered here of the arms. You will live tall. You can remember it as that definition to that acronym. You will live tall. YWLT. And if you do these 4 movements throughout the day, you will help draw the spine back into its natural position of extension, really helping with posture. As we release the arms down, well done, they've just done a lot of work. As we come to raising the left arm, I'll mirror you. The right arm drifts up slightly higher than the thigh. As we come forward, the arms travel up to about shoulder height and then slowly come back down. Moving to the other side, the right arm raises back behind us as the arm travels back, making a large circle it comes back up to shoulder height. Both arms come up to shoulder height, slowly coming back down. Inhale now as we come back to the breath. Begin to move perhaps the head as you look back at the arm. It's called painting the rainbow. Wonderful shoulder stretch. And we can also begin to introduce the hip. So as we draw the arm back behind us, see if you can draw the hip back and let the hip guide the movement forward. Moving a little faster now, we have the pattern. Inhaling as we take the arm and extend. Nourishing breath through the tip of the nose. One more, just for symmetry in the body. Bringing the hip in with the arm and slowly coming back down. Isolating now the hip circles that we started with in now just to the lower back. So the upper back remains fairly still. So we're seeing if we can just articulate the pelvis and the lower back. And perhaps even closing the eyes, upper back fairly still. And place the thumbs into the back of the sacrum here, into the lower back, and use the thumbs as you come forward to help support the movement and guide you into that rotation. So just isolating the movement now to the lower back. Perhaps closing the eyes and imagine drawing a circle between the feet once more. And in the opposite direction a few times. Wonderful. We can do a practice that we haven't done before. I don't think we've done this with you guys yet. So it's called sword hands. I'm going to take my right foot forward, hip width shoulder width apart. That's a slight variation on warrior two. As we extend the left arm up to the horizon, using two fingers, our two fingers come together, thumb comes to third finger. Hip width shoulder width apart, back foot at about 45 degrees. And make sure that you're not too narrow in your stance, you're not too tippy. You want a nice wide stance when we walk for our balance. Really helping avoid catastrophic falls. As we begin to turn the head, this arm at the left stays up at shoulder height. As we begin to turn the head in the opposite direction, that arm unfolds, the right arm begins to unfold, and the left arm retreats back towards the chest. The fingers face forward at the chest, the fingers face out at the horizon line. The head turns first before the arm, so keep that right arm extended. And then once the head is fully rotated, very subtle movement, the arm extends out and the other hand comes into the chest. Let's move with the breath. Inhaling as we rotate the head, the right arm now extends as the left arm comes back to the chest. As we take the head out towards the extended arm, begin the movement in the head first, rotating the head before extending the arm. The feet come together as we take a nice wide stance out, hip width, shoulder width apart, moving to the other side. So we're in a nice warrior one position or a low lunge, but the back foot is into the earth. Feel the eye of the palm, of the eye of the sole of the foot into the earth, I should say. Beginning the movement once more, the head turns and the arm extends, arm retreats back to the chest. As the arm stays extended now, the head turns first and then the arm extends. If you've got any hip discomfort today, perhaps narrow the stance. That is, shorten the stance. Keep it nice and wide, but shorten the stance rather than keeping the stance narrow. You want a nice wide stance, at least hip width, shoulder width. Head turns first as the arm extends. Wonderful. Both hands come up in a clearing gesture. It's a very subtle movement. It does require a fair bit of concentration to get the coordination there. So well done, really firing a lot of neural pathways there. As we come into some final movements before we begin our evening or day here in Australia, the hands come down through the midline, bending deeply at the knees. Inhaling up, the hands ascend up to the heavens. The hands are coming down, maybe about 3 inches apart, down through the midline. We're bending at the knees, arms sweep up, and then slowly back down. Very slowly through the air. There's a wonderful meditation here that we can introduce. It's a metta meditation of loving kindness, one that the Buddhist friends often use with this practice. And I invite you to perhaps say it with me. May I be happy as the arms raise. May I be safe as the arms come back down to the lower dantian. We're going to introduce a slightly different movement now as the hands come up to the heart. May I be well. Hands come out to the side and up to the heavens. May I be happy. May I be safe. Inhaling, may I be well. May I be happy. May I be safe. Maybe there's a loved one or someone that you want to send that message out to, out into the world. Let's see if we can perhaps think of someone that may need a little support. May they be well. May they be happy. May they be safe. May they be well. May they be happy. May they be safe. Say that to yourself, perhaps. Wonderful. So we come into a smoothing practice, just smoothing the energy within us and the energy around us. I invite you to take the left hand and thumb to middle finger as we come out to shoulder height, extending that arm out to about shoulder height. The right arm comes down through the midline and expelling any trapped and stagnant energy. Hand stays at shoulder height, thumb to middle finger, the opposite hand comes down through the midline. It's a slight transfer of the weight as we transition the weight into the leading hand. Thumb to middle finger at shoulder height as the opposite hand comes down. Think about releasing trapped and stagnant energy out through the palm. If you get lost, just come back to trying one arm. Otherwise, keeping the arm out at shoulder height before the hand comes down through the midline is a nice cue. Smoothing the energy within us, smoothing the energy around us. Hands come up in a clearing gesture, coming down through the midline. Very slowly through the gap. And the hands come to the heart. Then the hands come up to the Ming Tong, the space just above the eyes, at the forehead. We look up and we seal in all the sensations of the practice, that sense of calm, sense of well-being and peace. And the hands come back to the heart as we thank ourselves for taking this journey to nourish the mind and body and all those that practice and support our practice. Namaste. Thanks, everybody. Mary Jo, come out and say goodbye. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Great to see you. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks.